Defenders are on the move in Europe. In this video, we're going to be speaking about Jorel Hato. Arsenal interested. Apparently, allegedly, they've tabled a 6-year contract offer to the versatile centre-back and left-back. Guehi, the captain of Crystal Palace, the winner of that FA Cup, he's the one that lifted the trophy. Could he be going to Liverpool to replace the outgoing Jarell Quansah, who seems to be Leverkusen bound? We're also going to be rounding up the latest on Zubimendi in London. Finally, his officials are here to cross the T's and dot the I's on his deal that takes him to the Emirates. Let's get into this one. Do us a favour, hit that like button, get your comments in for the following topics, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We'll start off with Arsenal. There's a couple of questions that fall off the back of this. This tweet initially this morning from Sebastian Vidal, the French journalist who's based in London. He says that Arsenal have submitted a 6-year contract offer to the Ajax defender Jorel Hato, the 19-year-old, who, let's not forget, has been linked with Liverpool for some time now, has captained all of the levels right up until the first team in Ajax. Crucially, didn't get that title over the line last season under the stewardship of Jordan Henderson. But Sebastian Vidal says that talks are still progressing with the player. His campaign, Ajax, the versatile left-footed centre-back, is now closer to Arsenal, with Chelsea trailing behind. We're looking at around about a €50 million transfer fee for the youngster, who is hot property in Europe right now. And if you're Arsenal, how do you react to this one? Because, as we know, in the past 2, 3, 4 transfer windows, Mikel Arteta has preferred CDMs, left-backs, versatile centre-backs who can also play at left-back as well. And is this a sign that Jorel Hato, if he does come in, is this a sign that Miles Lewis-Skelly moves over into midfield? Let's not forget, that is his preferred and a position which he has the most experience in. So let's break it down. You know, a 19-year-old defender who's attracting this much clamour for the European top teams, he must be good. You know, Liverpool have done their research on him. You know, there's an argument to even say that could Liverpool, or do Liverpool need him with some outgoing defenders? I look at Andy Robertson, potentially going to Atletico Madrid, even though that one's far from completed, by the way. Definitely is. You look at Jarell Quansah leaving to go to Leverkusen, which we'll speak about in a minute. But I think he would have been a good fit at Liverpool. But he does have that Arsenal kind of vibe about him, that versatile. You know, the fact that he is left-footed as well, I think there's a rarity, or there's a lack of top-quality left-footed centre-backs out there at the minute. It gives you something else, and obviously he can play at left-back as well. So Miles Lewis-Skelly has held down that position now. In my opinion, was the best young player of the season last year. Yes, disciplinary, he'll have to learn and do better when it comes to those, you know, hot-headed moments. He obviously picked up a few red cards, but I like this signing for Arsenal, if I'm honest. A 6-year deal, that would take him up until he's around about 25. And I think, imagine how much he can learn off the Salibas, the Gabriels. He instantly becomes a better player after a season at Arsenal. I believe that. But Arsenal fans, I'm asking you, is he the man that you want? Is he the man to almost offer that backup to a Calafiori, to the other left-backs that Arsenal have available in the camp? But what's the impact of this signing if it does go through? How does that impact Arsenal's midfield? Do Arsenal fans prefer seeing Miles Lewis-Skelly in central midfield over left-back? Let me know, Arsenal fans, in the chat about that one, because that one could go either way. And obviously Chelsea are trailing behind in this deal as well, according to Sebastian, as they're still looking to shore up their defence as well. But this is an interesting one. A 6-year contract offer is no joke, right? They're showing their intent there, Arsenal. And as a 19-year-old, at £50 million, yes, it's a big fee. It is a big fee. But Arsenal fans, would you like to see a striker brought in before this deal goes over the line? We all know about the links to Gyökeres and Sesko. As the days progress, we don't really hear much more new news about it. So do let us know in the chat, Arsenal fans. This is an important one. Jorel Hato, how excited are you, and what's the impact of him coming in, and how does that leave Miles Lewis-Skelly? Does that allow him to go into midfield as well? Guehi. Now, this one kind of popped out out of nowhere yesterday. The timing of it makes sense because obviously Jorel Hato is looking to tie up his move to Leverkusen. There was a tweet just now actually from Fabrizio Romano, which I can give you live hot off the press. Let's have a look at what he says on this deal. As soon as Jorel Hato's deal is completed very soon, Liverpool will activate some centre-back options. Mark Guéhi on the shortlist for months. He was linked with Liverpool last year as well. Let's not forget the 80 million price tag that Crystal Palace put on his head when Newcastle came sniffing last summer. But he's on the shortlist for months and appreciated by Liverpool as well as more Premier League clubs. Diamonde can be his replacement at Crystal Palace. We've seen those links already. And I think when you're a buying club looking at a Guehi, looking at an Isak, if you see the selling club are interested in a replacement for that player, the writing's pretty much on the wall. João Pedro might not be the replacement for Alexander Isak, but they're looking to bring him in at Newcastle. And if Isak does come, they've got cover there, plus they could go for an Ekitike. So Diamonde coming in shows to me that Crystal Palace are very open to selling Mark Guehi, who has been fantastic. He's a brilliant centre-back. He's a great footballer. He's got that leadership quality as well that he's had now. He's had the armband for some years at Palace. But the key sticking point here is he has 1 year left on his contract. He's not going to sign a new one. And Crystal Palace are looking at this situation going, well, he's going to go for free next year. So let's get Diamonde in and let's recoup. Let's get as much money for him as possible. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 80 mil, if I'm honest. But Steve Parish and Crystal Palace, they will play hardball with Liverpool. If you're a Liverpool fan watching this, don't think for 1 second that this is going to be an easy deal to make, because yes, it's not going to be 80, but they're going to want 40 to 50. And I think when you look at Quansah bringing in 30 to 35 for Liverpool, this makes perfect sense. And I've seen online a lot of people saying Quansah's better than Guehi. Listen, Guehi's ceiling, I think, is a lot higher than Quansah's. It is a shame. There is a part of me that wishes it did work out a bit more for Quansah. It was almost doomed, wasn't it, in that Ipswich game, the first game under Arne Slot. He was dragged off at half-time. So under Klopp, he made massive leaps and bounds in improvements. You know, playing next to Virgil van Dijk was so key for his learning in that stage of his career. And Leverkusen is an attractive option. You know, it is Ten Hag managing, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But Xabi Alonso has cemented them as title challengers in Germany and also in Europe. They went so far in the Europa League as well. So it's a good deal. It's a good place for Quansah to go and be free and play every week. He wasn't getting that at Liverpool. And as a 21-year-old, 22, you need that. You need to be playing every week, especially at centre-back as well. So big up to him. You know, has won a Premier League title at Liverpool, and now he goes on with that pedigree, and I think that's a good deal, bringing in 30 to 40 million. Martin Zubimendi and his officials look to be in London today to, as I said, cross the T's and dot the I's on that contract, which has seemed like it's gone on for absolutely ages. But this is a deal that Arteta has had his eye on for some time. He now 2 summers in a row goes in for a Spanish central midfielder. We know Zubimendi is a very good footballer. But again, I go back to the same question I asked you after the Hato to Arsenal links. Is this the signing that moves the needle? Is this the signing that wins Arsenal the title? There's no hiding around from this question anymore. There's no avoiding it. Any signing that Arsenal bring in now, they need to be looking on that signing and saying, this guy, with their due diligence and with the scouting and with their choices that they're making, these signings, they have to win you a title. That's what the end goal is. Sesko has to come in and win Arsenal a title. It's at that point now. So, it's a good deal. Obviously, this one's been on the table for some time. He was linked to Real Madrid, wasn't he? But in the end, Arsenal get their man, and it looks like he is going to be playing at the Emirates next season, sooner or later. Also, just an update on the Kerkez and Liverpool deal. That's not in any doubt. Hopefully that gets announced very soon. And obviously, Florian Wirtz will be announced today, finally, as a Liverpool player. We will see him in the red shirt today. He arrived in England last night, didn't he? So that's your update. I mean, a lot of moving parts, really, in this transfer window. There's so many many ins and outs at all these top clubs, and that's why we're giving you these videos every day, because something seems to happen every day at the minute. But as I'm flicking through the timeline, I think that's about it for this video at least. And don't forget, we'll be back on Monday with much more of the same, and we'll have the weekend roundup for you as well as the Club World Cup games continue. But don't forget, Best of Enemies is back today, so make sure you stick around for that on DR Sports. But this has been your transfer news update with myself, AGT. Have a great day, get out in the sunshine, put a bit of sun cream on, and enjoy yourself. All the best.